What's going on, YouTube? This is gonna be a video about psychedelics because I was asked about psychedelics. I really don't know too much about psychedelics, but I will speak on what I have experienced myself. The only psychedelic that I did take is Salvia divinorum, and that was an experience and a half. I think I have 3 videos on that, and if you haven't seen it, go back and check that out because it was an incredible experience, and it was something that I definitely wasn't ready for, but I was grateful to had experienced that at that time because it expanded my thoughts on this reality and confirmed some things for my own self. But that being said, let me get down to it, because every reality is perspective upon itself and belief system beyond itself. And what I mean by that is, depending on what you believe, when you go into an hallucination by a psychedelic, that's what will be portrayed. Like if you're an atheist, maybe random things will happen. If you're a Christian, maybe you'll see Jesus. If you're a Muslim, you'll see Muhammad, and so on and so forth. So with all the thoughts and ideologies that I had, it was a combination of spirits and entities and realms and beautiful happenings. Man, like I said, I was blessed to have the experiences that I had. Not saying that they was completely 100% great, but it was very enlightening for me, and it was eye-opening, to say the least. Some of it was, whoa, just to think about it, man. Well, I'm gonna get into it briefly, but I highly suggest that you go back and see my video, Salvia divinorum. That trip was crazy. I explain it in detail, but I'll explain one of the trips slightly. Yeah, this one was like maybe my 3rd time taking it. And it's just been intensifying every time. It's just more intensified. And this time, just like the other ones, it involved a lady. Some other people, if you're like roaming through Salvia and you find this video, you'll see that a lot of people hear a woman. And I think it has a lot to do with the vibration of the plant. And I think the plant is feminine, and it represents a feminine entity, a deity, or whatever, what have you. Or I don't know what happens, but what I do know is that a lady talks to you and it feels like she is the dominant force in that vibration when you take Salvia divinorum. In my experience, I took a couple of hits, and like always, I was like, oh shit, maybe I didn't take enough. And within a couple of minutes, boom, it's like it just takes you out of nowhere. It's kind of hard to set yourself up to be ready for it. This kind of knocks you out of place. And in this instance, I was sitting on the bed and I faded back. And it kind of went to like a black space. And then I was hearing this lady talk. And she was asking me, why would I want to come back to this place? Why would I want to come back to this reality when I know that it's not real? She's like, that place is fake. How long are you gonna stay there for? She said, you should come here with us. This is real. Come live with us. And that realm or place of existence was peaceful. There really wasn't a feeling. There wasn't like nothing going on. Like there was nothing happening. It was just, I was there, I was conscious, and I knew. I knew I was conscious. I knew there was other conscious beings. I didn't see any physical forms, but I seen lights, and I heard voices, and I could locate the voices to a direction, but there was nothing to actually see. I think my physical brain was actually like stopping the full experience, because it was very nice, but then I was like, man, I don't want to sit here and do this. Like, Earth is way more complex than this. Like, I have less knowledge. That's what makes it more exciting, Earth. But then the crazy stuff started happening. She was like, let me show you that this is a fake reality. Then it zoomed back to where I was in the bed, and she came up, pulled my vision up, like I was like having an out-of-body experience or an astral projection, and she showed me the top view of my room, and she showed me, and I looked at like a Sims character, and I also looked at clay. Then I was looking at myself, and I was like, oh my God. Then my hands started to drip, and the drip, I zoomed on the drip, and I became that drip, and then I seen it hit the floor. Then I snapped back to my body, and I was like, oh wow. Then I see my hands still like dripping, and I looked at like clay and everything, and I seen like my vibration. I seen the shift in vibrations in my body, and I tried to touch the door, and I was looking at myself from the top view, trying to open up the door, and she just said, see, I told you, this is not real. Wow. It was intense. It was really intense. And at the time, it's so real. It's so real. But it is a reality upon itself. So I have to respect that. So when I opened up the door, I was like, just kind of like stumbling forward, and like just so relieved to be out of the room. I just needed to be in the room. And I was walking past the I took a left through a small hallway, and I'm walking into the living room that opened up to the left hand side, and my cousin's sitting there in an open space on the couch looking towards me as I'm walking like this, and I'm trying to get to the door to go outside because I felt like everything would be alright if I get outside for some reason. Then I stopped midway, and he's looking at me, and he's like, what the hell is going on? I was like, oh man. Oh, I went to the floor, and after salvia, it always feels so good to touch your body, to feel your physicality, because you actually come out of your body, like almost every time. So when you come back, it's good to feel yourself and to become grounded. And you can't become grounded just by doing this, but it feels good. So I usually touch the floor, or touch somebody else and hug somebody else. It makes you feel very, very good. As you're listening to this, you can probably tell that it's not 100% pleasant. No, like the experience is great, but when you're coming back, it's terrifying. Because there's a thought that runs through your brain as you're coming back down, that like maybe I'm not gonna make it back inside my body. That is constant, because the ego dies. The ego is killed, boom, completely on the spot. Soon as you get that hallucination going, the ego is dead, boom, right in its tracks. There is no ego. It flies out the window. And then when you're coming down, the ego is trying to come back and trying to survive, and it thinks that it's gonna completely stay dead. So you're like, oh God, let me get back. That's why you see people in Salvia Divinorum, they're like crawling out the window. They're trying to escape that reality, even though there's no harm being done to them. There's nothing harmful being done. It's just it's the personality, the ego is trying to survive for dear life. So if you're ready to have a dramatic shift in your perception of this reality, Salvia Divinorum is good. So I kind of like didn't really stay on the concept of hallucinogens in general, psychedelics in general. Salvia is categorized as a slight hallucinogen, not completely, so it is legal in some states, in some countries. It's banned in a couple of states in America. But I think that hallucinogens are useful if they're not used like every day. I think that you should probably only use a hallucinogen no more than 5 times in a year. Don't get carried away with it, because we end up getting addicted to things like cigarettes, alcohol, and all of these things are great. Even opiates, they're great, but you can't use them as much as humans use them nowadays, so it actually becomes a negative thing. But if you use alcohol like every once in a while for the experience and the knowledge of, okay, I got this alcohol in me, see how I feel different and how I can react different, how my brain acts different, and I can do this differently, and I can probably step into a different state, because your state changes, so you could probably even get to a higher state or a different state altogether in those vibrations. So how I feel about hallucinogens and psychedelics, they're great. They can definitely help you in your perception, reaching higher states of vibration. They're used in a lot of practices: yoga, Buddhism, shamanism. They use them all the time. They're very, very helpful tools, but use them as tools, not for escaping this reality. If you're looking for an escape, please, to save yourself the time, don't even use it, because it's not going to have a good effect. Try to use these things as tools, as they're intended. Just like everything on this planet, it has DMT in it, and DMT is in your pineal gland, so you don't actually need a hallucinogen for nothing, because you can hallucinate if you just work on the pineal gland, the third eye, meditate, do yoga, do headstands, do pranayama, take harataki, turmeric on the pineal, put it here. Eat alkaline foods. You will have a DMT experience. Just stay with it. Stay with me on this page. I appreciate you guys for watching and always responding. The comments, I love it. If you guys want me to make a video on anything, just let me know and I will get on that. Please give me a thumbs up. Share this video. Get this out there so I can continue to make great content. Thank you.